What a day for racing. Emirates Team New Zealand in port. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli on starboard. And we talked about the crowds. It's a glorious afternoon for America's Cup racing. And you just get the sense that New Zealand's suddenly come alive with the magic of the America's Cup.
Hi everyone, this is the Royal New Zealand Air Force Formation Thunder crew. Flying down the harbour at 500 feet, we'll be past North Head, looping around Rangitoto and back up the viaduct to Whenupo. We wish Team New Zealand all the best today. As we say, we'll fly the plane, you fly the boat. Cheers and go well.
Wonderful moment. Squadron leader Ian Tuke, that's right, the uncle of Blair Tuke, the flight control of Emirates Team New Zealand and their T6 Texan Beechcraft. How cool was that? It is a magnificent day for racing.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete and this race will start on schedule.
3 minutes and 43 seconds in counting to the start of race. And look at the crowds that are on the Viaduct Harbour. They cannot wait for this thing to get on. It is jam-packed. Look at that. If you're watching around the world, there's some 196 countries. Yes, you can get a little bit jealous, but right now, lads, it's time to go racing.
It's time to go racing, and this crowd on the water, Nathan, you know, it was always interesting when in my day, back in the day when I was racing these things, you see the crowds before the start, but as soon as the starting gun goes, everything disappears, and it's just absolutely to the race itself and focusing on what they need to do.
100% right. We might have boundaries, the spectators might be a little bit closer than probably what was when you were racing here in Auckland years ago. But you put the blinkers on when racing begins. It's you, it's the other boat, it's the shifts, and all that noise is gone. You know, Stephen was saying there's so much pressure on these guys and the fans are going to help them. They're not thinking about them right now.
And then finally, you're underway. I mean, do the nerves suddenly go as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think they definitely do. Whatever sport you play, athletes know how to focus, and focus means, like Nathan said, the blinkers or the blinders, as we would say. Put the blinders on and just deal with the task at hand.
Virtual eye giving you a beautiful view of what the stadium course looks like. And on course in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, Emirates Team New Zealand are allowed to enter the pre-start area. Remember, port entry, 100% success rate so far in this regatta. And in come Emirates Team New Zealand. Look to the right of the screen, starboard entry. That's Rossa, Prada, Pirelli. Remember, we're at 2 wins apiece here.
Not too early.
Here we go, turning.
Yep.
Most of us in today, what is the starboard entry boat going to do to try and break this curse of the starboard entry? Is it a myth or is it real? I'm thinking these live goings, that double maneuver gets really tough.
We're seeing a little bit of a different break in the action where Prada is actually sticking themselves well down to leeward or to the right side of Emirates Team New Zealand, kind of taking almost like a blocking move towards the jibe that is likely coming on the red boat.
Just watch the green mark to leeward. So at the moment the pit's closed.
He looks to jump. Yeah. Jumping.
Okay, full face up.
Yeah.
Easy leading. Easy leading.
Up hard.
Board out. 2, 1. Yep. No, turn up Lenny. Copy. 24 knot.
The wind here. And wood's coming up.
Mine now. Still really early on pin guys. Yeah, that's high.
Little high mine here.
Pace up,
Building guys. Massive.
Quite slow here, Nathan. Really slow and dangerously close to being off the foils.
There you see that shot there. 20 knots is about the bottom speed they can keep it on the foil. Prada with the bigger foils can hang there a little bit longer. Both boats really struggling right now, or just early and killing time.
Trimming up. I might here a little.
We will gain time on
the gas if we can.
Rossa looking very strong.
You know, we will gain time on the wave, okay?
The question is, are they early?
Guys are trying to get up in the air right now, Nathan. I'm not so sure they're out of the water yet, and they're using that kind of that 90-degree wind angle to pop out of the water, down into bad air, and in a really bad spot.
Okay, just charge here, charge the battery. Pass them along, trimming up slowly.
No worries. Little up,
trimming up, go.
Yeah, we're just going to get to a taking speed. Yeah.
Racing, race 5, the 6th America's Cup match. And Rossa, Prada, Pirelli across the line first.
3.
Wow.
It's a little longer then, we hold. Just a little.
Smaller foils. Harder ends on the pre-start and you can't get caught slow. That was leading back a little bit early on Emirates Team New Zealand, having to go slow, dropping off the foils and having the smaller foils and struggling to take off.
We all knew that one of the factors going into this was going to be the foil size and the ability of this boat to actually do down speed maneuvers in the pre-start. Would that be an advantage? Could they put themselves in a position to make it an advantage? They did, and they actually crushed that start.
Going to go to 6 past.
So much for that Tacking entry favourite.
Opportunity to clear it here for a while. 10 left on the number.
I've been trying to tell you that, Nathan, now for a couple of days.
Hey man, the numbers don't lie. Now we're going to adjust the numbers. Let me just get my spreadsheet on.
Average better pressure left.
Surely we've finally broke the jigs, the black tack jigs.
Yeah, no problem.
A massive error by Pete. I mean, you heard the slight panic in Bluetooth's voice, saying, you know, we're really, really early for this. And he knows that they all their foils, and yet, you know, slowed down. A huge error, but it's close enough. It's
3, 2, 1, 4 down. Tech now, guys. Go face up, please. Average breeze.
So straight away into
a bit of pressure landing,
the Rossa Prada Pirelli. About a 200-metre lead. It's interesting, Freddie, when you were talking before about the wind out there, you were saying all the spectators on the right were making it softer. Is it still looking that way? You know, both boats heading to the left. You see from the helicopter, mate.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, 100%.
There must be 2,000 boats down the right-hand side of the course, and the breeze is just lifting up over there. I reckon there's probably 7.5 knots on the right, and there's 9.5 knots on the left. It's really interesting that Prada stood on and sailed into a little bit more pressure. They were on the left-hand side from what I'm seeing.
Not exactly the start that the 2,000 boats out there were expecting to see here today, Stephen.
Not at all. We're in the opening leg of 6 in race 5 of the match, and well, Shirley said, massive mistake by Emirates Team New Zealand at the start. We've talked about the starts. Win the start and you go a long way to winning the race. So there's still 5 and a bit legs to go, but it's going to be hard.
Using what you have to your advantage. You're trying to figure out how you match up against the other boat, Nathan. And there's no question, we've been saying it all along, this boat has a slow speed, Italian boat has a slow speed that they have consistently used to their advantage in all 3 of the rounds. And man, we just saw it again.
And they used it in that pre-start by jumping. They went early and by turning, you know how the Port Tech entry boat, Team New Zealand, gets to choose when they come back. And Jimmy Spill and Francesco said, no, we're going to go back a little bit earlier because we know we can handle sailing slower than our bigger foils. So they happily took the lead. Both boats got really slow and then they just climbed up out of that 17 knots, got on the foil, and great judgment by Francesco Bruni, Jimmy Spill, and the whole board. There's more than 2 people in that, but man, it's played really well in that start.
Speed.
Stand by. Up now. 3, 2, 1. A little pressure out of this.
Italian who's popped out of bed about a half an hour ago have arrived to a really nice sight for them, haven't they?
Early in the piece, 200 metre lead to Rossa. Again, this will be a huge sight.
The moment I can lay right,
Jimmy.
I mean, if the pressure looks alright, we can take it and just early jibe, you know.
Yeah, we had to break the momentum.
Yes, I agree.
Emirates Team New Zealand might have had.
Yes, trimming up.
Just hearing a little bit of chat on board Luna Rossa there about what they're going to do at the top. They're laying the top marks right now. Team New Zealand aren't. And it's softer on that right-hand side, as Freddie was saying, and I think they want to do a right-hand turn early jibe and stay in phase.
The little left.
I think we stick with this early jibe, boys.
Yeah, copy.
No rush, because I want to give gas on him upwind.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep an eye on him after the barrel. I'll start your turn on the mark. Coming down a little, boys.
Pirelli, go around the top mark.
2, 1, all yours.
And confident, just listen to the comms going on. They are so relaxed, and their fans will be loving this up wherever they are around the world. Team New Zealand will onto the gate in a deficit.
Good angle there, build a little bit.
Really, on the first when you take a look at this,
Nice angle there.
that deficit's
8
going to be
seconds away from
in
him.
favour
He carries
of
on.
Luna Rossa,
5,
Prada Pirelli.
4, 3,
They're right
2,
down to every
1, way to go.
detail. Francesco Bruni talk about, let's continue here on Port Jive, and we actually give them dirty gas. By gas, they mean disturbed air. Sails as they're passing, going upwind. So no matter how far ahead you are, you're always trying to make it a bigger distance.
Fish is pretty stable. Yeah, all good. Fish is
And we have seen a fast boat downwind in the Kiwi boat, and the statistics absolutely bear this out. The Kiwi boat is quicker downwind. There is no question.
Yeah, we've been looking at the numbers from the last few days, and speeds of up to, what was it, 3 extra knots boat speed downwind. VMG gains as well, so similar angles but faster speeds. But I'll tell you what, if you're 280 metres behind, you're going to have to be a lot faster to close this race down.
Or alternatively, you're going to want the boat leading to make a mistake.
Average breeze.
We saw yesterday with the problem with the board going down, not going down.
Heavy all the way on this one.
Cost,
nice.
potentially cost the Italians the race.
Pace up.
Yeah,
nice pressure above us here.
I think we just go to the boundary at the moment.
Yeah.
Surely the Italians are not really keeping in check with the Kiwis, or allowing them to break off to the other side of the race course. And,
nice pressure for this.
It kind of shows that
Right,
maybe
Mark,
Freddie
the
is
boat goes
exactly
good.
correct. That they like this side of the race course that they're heading towards, don't they?
3, 2, 1, turning
Yeah,
down.
and I was quite surprised, Kenny, that they headed to the right-hand side of the track, you know, tucked right in under those spectator boats. There's like a good 1 or 2 knots different at the top of the track, and down the bottom it's much more even. And I could see that on the, I have the wind speeds coming off the 2 yachts. And Emirates Team New Zealand on the left-hand side of the track did have a, you know, a knot or 2 more. They're also going faster.
Is?
Yeah. Okay.
Positioning here.
They're sure get punished in the maneuvers though on the day like today, though, don't you? They're absolutely talking about minimizing maneuvers.
They are, and you know, they end up bouncing down the boundary. So, as Shirley said, Luna Rossa decided to go to that right-hand side. All the spectator boats went first. Then they're going to bounce over to the favoured side, and now they're going to bounce back over there as Team New Zealand are bouncing sort of opposite. So Luna Rossa are going to go over there twice, and Team New Zealand are only going to go over there once. So the way the geometry of the course works out, it's could be a bit of a gain here for Team New Zealand, only going to that side one time.
Little gain to us there. Nice. What mark's he going to be around? He's going to go right turn.
Hydraulics actually moving that highly loaded. This is the clue of a twin-skin mainsail, of a double-skinned mainsail, back and forth, and the hydraulics are driven by all these guys grinding their grinders down below, pumping towards creation of hydraulic pressure.
Nice.
That's how all these sails are moved around.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli about to complete
Oh,
the
boys,
second leg
got
of
to the turn in.
6.
3, 2, 1, slowly up.
32 seconds at the previous mark. We know that it might be maybe a little bit less with
Nice
the
job.
downwind speed of Emirates Team New Zealand, but doesn't matter. There's one boat in front and one boat chasing, and you know which way that is.
A little bit of gas from him to get through.
Yeah.
Right now we got a boundary. Just got to get through this gas.
Emirates Team New Zealand now heading towards the bottom gate for the first time.
Are we happy left then? Yeah, real happy left.
No sound of panic on the comms, just about their business, trying to find how they can drag in this Italian boat. And look at that, no game, 32 seconds again at the second mark.
5 right. -1.
Right out.
No wider feet. please.
Vai trav.
Coming up a little bit more.
Sì, sì.
Put pressure in 5, Pietro. Coming up more. Coming up.
Trimming. Sì.
Good there.
It's quite a relationship between the guy driving the boat and the guy trimming the main. So Francesco was talking to Pietro Sibello about the angle he's driving. If he wants to point up a bit, got to trim the main on a bit more. So that relationship is crucial.
Tacking probably in about
This is the lead off the start, though. You know, the boat behind is at a disadvantage because the boat ahead gets to control the race course and throw some bad air when they want to. But I'll tell you what, kind of like race. This reminds me of race 1. The boat behind is not getting further behind. That means they are not slow in this condition. That Kiwi boat.
Trav.
So we just go to speed tack as well.
Yes.
We've been trying to get information out of the guys over the last few days, the sailors on board, as to what it is that's making it so hard to overtake. You know, we've seen in, I guess when I was racing in Bermuda in the America's Cup, there were quite a lot of changes. And I think the bigger difference that I've got out of the sailors so far is that these boats they're bigger, they're heavier, they have more sail area, which produces a bigger wind show, and the boat speeds are quite similar. We're not seeing people fall off the floors and tacks and things like that. The error rate is quite low, so once you're behind, it's quite hard. A lot of racing on these boats here in Auckland. You got any insights for us on what your options are when you are the boat behind, and how much of a penalty is it, when you get the wind shadow?
I mean, like in all forms of sailing, Nate, the wind shadow is going to kill you. Up here in the sky, mate, you can draw a line down the middle of the course, left to right. Prada are protecting the left-hand side. They keep it standing out into about a knot and a half more breeze compared to the right, where they're bouncing Emirates Team New Zealand. The other thing is the step up in the tacks that the Prada do compared to Emirates Team New Zealand is unbelievable. The rate of turn, and they're just stepping up the ladder in every tack. Emirates Team New Zealand have a much harder turn rate to try and complete the tack.
It's a better shift this time for us.
Kenny, I had to chat with some of the
Same
Rossa
plan,
guys
almost
today
like
about
the
how
ride
come
at the
the
moment.
hook never works in that pre-start scenario,
Trimming up,
and they
boys,
said
trimming
just
up.
that
Stand
the
by.
gas, the disturbed air is so
1,
big
pull it down.
that you never cut through it successfully. So I think it's become much more of an issue than perhaps they thought it was at the beginning of racing.
And we're only really looking at, right now I'm looking at some wind graphs, some true wind direction wind graphs, and there's really only about 10-degree wind shifts on the water, which in sailing terms isn't a whole lot. So it's another way for the boat behind to try to find something, and when there's not much there, it makes it an awful lot harder.
More pressure.
There's that wind graph that you were talking about. You can see it's just
we can hit him again if you want.
It's about 8 to 10 degrees.
Not much, not enough to really get in phase. You know, races we saw earlier,
Pressure here.
round robins, southwesters, or anything off the land, and you get much more better shifts. But this light sea breeze, which is very, very common here in March, a light 10-knot sea breeze that's stable. And Course A today, not many passing lanes out there.
Pounding to the right. The Italians are pounding the Kiwis back to the right, but I'll tell you what, the meters behind are not getting larger. They're actually just kind of hanging in around 200, maybe even a little under right now. So again, the Kiwi boat has a fast mode. We know that. It always sails more distance, but man, are they fast, both upwind and downwind.
Little build here. Little build pressing.
Flat. They sail those sails in what is, you know, you wouldn't even be hiking on most boats right now. You wouldn't even have people on the rail, and these guys are sailing with board, flat sails.
Plenty of apparent wind going across that boat. 10 knots of breeze, what, 25, 30 knots of speed. That's a lot of breeze across the deck. That's why they're so flat. Not foiling, on the other hand, you got to really camber them up. Get the boat going.
He's very tight on, mate. I think he could be around our mark at the moment.
About to complete the halfway stage in this 5th race of the America's Cup match. in 2021 out of the Hauraki Golf. This course A.
I'll steer onto this
in
one.
front of a magnificent spectator,
3,
and it's all
2,
Luna Rossa Prada
1.
Pirelli
All
at the
yours.
moment. Remembering, it is a 2-all scoreline. How much of a psychological advantage will it be again to win first race of the day? Because they seem to have a little bit of a habit of doing that.
Nice angle there, Cobbs. No lower.
Looking at the clock on the bottom right of the screen, it appears that there's been small gains by Emirates Team New Zealand. 32 seconds at the ball gate. They've picked up 10 seconds. That's a good upwind gain.
It's pretty impressive considering that they were getting tacked on the whole time and going up. What we believe and what Freddie's been talking about is less pressure on that side. Freddie, did we miss something? Did the pressure change on that upwind, or is Team New Zealand going fast?
Yeah, I think Team New Zealand are going fast, Nathan. I didn't see anything that suggested they should have an advantage in shift or pressure, so they must have got the boat really dialed in on this second upwind.
Nice lefty for us, 10.
Okay, diving now. Ease, middle ease. Speed.
You know, Freddie was referencing the boats
pretty good
and their
lefty at the
turning
moment.
ability
You're
going upwind.
Yeah, my driver.
Look at talk about
Getting a little lefty.
protecting the left
Yeah,
side
lower,
of the course.
when
All
I
those
travel.
blue dots is Luna Rossa. All those yellow dots are the
Getting another
Kiwis.
header.
Luna Rossa
Get pressure
wanted
header here.
the
Yeah.
left-hand
At the
side of the
moment.
course, and they took it almost
straight.
exactly down the middle of the race course. Phenomenal. That's great. That's great. A great show by Virtual Eye there,
Becomes
guys.
lighter, then we can
That's match racing.
drive.
Yep.
Bottom is even.
Very different downwind though, isn't it? The boat
that.
ahead can't affect
Just
the
because
boat
of this
behind.
shift.
So you end
Performance
up
here.
sailing your own race downwind, and then
Numbers.
upwind is when you go on the attack or the defense.
Jumping a bit faster, yeah. Up.
Starting to get a
Quick look at the numbers.
Still
though, and look at
pressures.
the downwind
Looks
at the
nice
moment
here.
by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They have really stretched that lead
Stand by,
out.
boys.
That's probably the largest lead so
Nine,
far in
three.
the race.
2, 1. Just turning down, getting a puff, just riding it out.
Yeah.
Forward going.
Nice one. High rake.
Look at the heart rates there. Take a look at the grinders and what they're doing. And Freddie, you know all about that. Where is the key point where the heart really starts popping?
Good build out of
Yeah,
this.
we're coming into that key point
They're in
now. At
face
the
with the wind
moment,
at the moment.
all the sails are very deep. The jib car is outboard. You're looking to get the most power out the sails. So effectively, everything's very eased. But we're coming into the last 10% of the downwind. You've got to start getting ahead of the game. You've got to start stretching out the sails. You're already working really hard as the grinders because you've just come out of the jibe. Now you've got to move it up a gear and start getting the boat into upwind mode. You slingshot round the bottom, trim the mainsail on up to big tonnages, and then standby tack. It just does not stop on the bottom half of the course.
Why wouldn't anybody want to do that?
Well, I know Freddie would probably rather be in the match right now, but enjoy the view up on Alley 1. Freddie Carr.
You deserve it. It sounds like you deserve it.
Any other Team UK grinder giving us that true insight to the work rate that the grinders have to do.
They're working the geometry exactly how you would expect, Nathan, right? They're coming in, they're going to take the side of the course already. They're already thinking ahead. These runs and the geometry and where you jive on the runs is working on where you want to be on the upwind leg. Well done by Luna Rossa.
And it is Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli who will complete the fourth leg, still in front of the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand. We keep using this one word, but flawless still comes to mind. You think about Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, it is, wow, I mean, and it goes right back to before the Prada Cup final. The one key area they improved on was communication and getting everything right, and they are just drawing it right now as Emirates Team New Zealand finally gets that mark rounding and start the penultimate leg at race number 5 in this America's Cup match.
So they lose a little bit of time on that downwind. That's probably the first time they've fallen behind a little bit on the downwind. And I could hear in the comments in the background, you know, Francesca Rooney saying, my rate, my track, which means they've tacked. So instantly Luna Rossa is setting them up again just to keep bouncing on the right-hand side of the course.
You think they give him any clear air here?
Absolutely not.
That's the right answer.
Would you?
No, not a chance.
Turning.
There's a shock and turning. All over Italy, everybody I talk to, Luna Rossa is front page everywhere. It is a phenomenon. It is turned into a phenomenon.
It is when you think that football is so huge in Europe, and they've also got a team that races Formula One called Ferrari. But right now, this is their Ferrari. Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, and surely that must be so just encouraging for this team every time they hit the water.
Stephen, you know, I spoke to Max Serena, the skipper of Luna Rossa, about how big it was at home. He said it's the same as the 1982 Soccer World Cup when Italy won. You know, the entire nation was behind that team, and the momentum, the support is growing day by day for this team. They might not be here in Auckland cheering them on the boat, but goodness, they're all getting up in the middle of the night.
That's big.
That is big. But again, look at these distances are just almost, they're on a string. Once they start going upwind, there's no yo-yo here. They're on a string. They're in that 200-meter range, and that means that boat behind is actually hanging in there pretty good in a tough spot.
They're hanging in there, but they can't break through that 150-meter mark, can they? And unless you can get inside 150 meters, 100, and then get into 50 meters and start putting pressure, Luna Rossa will just keep doing this all day long. It just comes back to that start and brilliant execution really by Luna Rossa, that start, and setting themselves up for another race win at this stage.
Cruising speed at 9 knots. Speed 21. But still big as belief.
And that's their slow speed. I love the upper left-hand corner where you see the foils going out of the water, that cant angle of 60 degrees. There's a lot of variation as the top teams are playing those cant angles and trying different angles in different conditions, and even changing the angles during maneuvers. So that is always going to be one of those features that people try different things.
Boys, about 5 when you're happy.
Nice.
This is becoming kind of... We don't need commentators today. I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to tack on them and protect the left side of the race course. Done. Thank you.
What I found so interesting is that camera angle we saw before behind the boat, when they exited the tack, they were still pointing higher than Emirates Team New Zealand. So, you know, there's a lot of speculation about the loading of these two boats, and I think it's pretty clear there's a pattern. This boat here, Luna Rossa likes to sail higher and a little bit slower, and Emirates Team New Zealand like to stick the bow down. They like to get it rumbling, go fast.
There's your case in point.
You can see your angles there. It's really hard when you're the boat behind to live anywhere if you don't have that high load. You can't live on someone's hip. You can't gauge off them. Really hard when you're behind. When you're in front, that load's great. Not a problem at all.
It'll be interesting if the boundary saves the Kiwis coming over here right now. Will Luna Rossa get to the boundary, to the edge of the race course and tack and actually have to give the other boat clear air?
Pull it down.
There you go. Going right with it. They stayed clean through most of that. I give the Kiwis credit during that last exchange.
They did pretty well considering it looked like they were in the gas, but maybe the wind was actually coming around to leeward. But the fascinating thing here is that Luna Rossa are probably going to lay the top mark. And Emirates Team is going to have one more tack. So that's another 50, 60 metres they're probably going to lose for this tack. It's starting to get really tough for them now.
It's got a little cant
When
out
you
there.
fast control, it seems to come, you look at this boat, we're there in front.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, pressure-wise, looks okay.
They're not
just the
looking
early
out their
job
shot
again, you know?
at all.
There is no rush this time because the pressure should be better.
In a fast boat, one to go. This is not breathe easy weather yet. If you're an Italian fan.
Well, if you're an Italian fan, for the last time in race number 5 of this Cup match on course A, you're leading, heading towards the home mark.
But nervous.
And by 3, 2,
I'm not so sure. I'm going to say right now that this boat is being sailed beautifully, and they are, again, in control. They have dictated terms from the get-go.
Not their best rounding, though, I have to admit.
Pretty good, thank you.
Emirates Team New Zealand still the chaser in race number 5. 27 seconds at the 4th mark. 23 at the final mark before they head home.
I don't know, you've got to say, if you are able to close a bit of time down going upwind while sailing in someone's dirt, your boat's going fast. And I think after this race is going to be, once again, another regroup.
Is it another helmet off situation?
I wouldn't be surprised if the helmet comes off again by a few people and there's a huddle and they dissect the start. Besides the start, they've sailed very well. The boat's sailed very well, the geometry's going well. They're getting pushed around the course, obviously, but they're doing well to keep it as close as they can. But if you're giving them 20 seconds, 15 seconds at the start, you're not going to win.
Shirley, are there passing lanes out there right now?
Oh, it's a beautiful day out here, Kenny. You know, textbook summer sea breeze day. It's very, very even. And Luna Rossa, they've bossed this race course, haven't they? They've gone exactly where they wanted to go. Currently just right down the middle and the maximum pressure. It's hard to see, barring a mistake or, you know, a bit of a massive error by Luna Rossa, it's hard to see how the Kiwis are going to get past.
A little pressure on now. And a little lefty again.
Same time. Stop.
Calm, cool, and collected. There's no other way. They're supposed to be commentating for us. We're playing into their hands, and they're not giving us anything, Steve.
Well, we could say that Emirates Team New Zealand
starting the left jet. Stand by.
Run with it.
3, 2, 1.
Breeze is right up around 10 knots for both boats right now. Still kind of a 12 or so degree wind shifts across the water. That tide is the current is with the boats right now, and
when you think that they are very close to snatching their 3rd win of an Emirates Cup match, a team that has had its confidence building and building and building, how big a deal now as you head into race number 6? It feels a bit like moving day into Golf Masters. When you want to make a play, you make the big play.
Well, they're making a big play. They're not aiming for the center of the green anymore. They're aiming for the pins, you know. And I think the second race of the day, Nathan, is the pressure race, because you're the Kiwis right now. All of a sudden, what pressure you had, which I'm assuming is considerable, is absolutely ratcheted up another level.
Well, yeah, the pressure's on both teams. Obviously, Team New Zealand are down, and they need to level today. These guys, they want to convert. They want to go 4-2 up. You know, if they can convert, they're on their way. But if Prada don't win the next one and it's back to even, then it's another breath of relief for everyone in New Zealand. And we start again tomorrow. Fantastic sport, isn't it?
We are in the final seconds of race number 5 in the America's Cup match, and it has been another dominant performance by the Challenger of record. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli will cross the line. 3-2 up in the match.
Stand by. 2, 1.
And why wouldn't you celebrate if you're a small contingent surrounded by Kiwi fans? Make note that as Emirates Team New Zealand come across and now go into a thinking mode. How do we go and win race number 6?
They're not making it easy on themselves in those pre-starts. When do we start ratcheting up the pressure on Mr. Burling? You know,
give it a couple more days.
In your press conference questions.
Confirmation of the result in race 5 of the 36th America's Cup match. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli take the W by 18 seconds.